Well, when it's the weekend, it is time to go and take a look at what's playing at the movie theaters. And for that, we go out to the West Coast and talk to Michael Snyder, who tells us what's happening in films. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Alex, and hello, America, and all the ships at sea, and even beyond in Europe and Asia, wherever you're getting GABNet via Roku or whatever. Yeah, here we are, and we do have some films for you to review. Oh, wait, no, I'm going to review them, and on top of that, some of them are actually pretty good. I'm feeling good about our selection, so let's get to it. With Pacific Rim Uprising. In Pacific Rim, Guillermo del Toro paid homage to Japanese giant monster and robot sci-fi movies, enormous otherworldly creatures invading Earth through a dimensional rift located at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. And in that case, we had to defeat them, humanity, pooling together its resources by building giant battle robots manned by teams of heroic international pilots. And now we have a sequel to that film. Guillermo del Toro, fresh off of winning an Oscar for The Shape of Water, just takes the position of producer and creative director here. And in fact, at the end of the previous film, the rift was sealed and peace reigns and the world rebuilt. But of course, the monsters have to return. And here they do with a few twists. This is a big budget action science fiction popcorn muncher of the highest order. Is it a great film? No. Is it as beautiful and fun as Pacific Rim? Not quite. And here the wrestling robots and the kaiju thing is bigger than ever because it is a sequel and things have to get bigger in sequels. And eventually that gets a little numbing. But there are some nice character development moments, maybe even more than in the first movie, although action-wise and cinemagraphically, number one was a little better. The characters played by Idris Elba and Charlie Hunnam in the first film, pilots of the giant robot Jaegers, are not on board for this, but John Boyega is, as Jake Pentecost, son of Idris Elba's inspiring Jägermeister Pentecost in the first film. Bern Gorman and Charlie Day are back as the scientists who labored to find a solution to the kaiju problem, kaiju being the Japanese word meaning giant Godzilla-like monsters. And Rinko Kikuchi is back as well. Plus, there's a newcomer named Callie Spaney playing a kid prodigy who builds her own Jaeger and then, of course, is recruited into the Jaeger Corps. Scott Eastwood, Clint's boy, as Jake's rival on the Jaeger squad. And I have to tell you, Stephen DeKnight, who was the former showrunner on Netflix's Daredevil, and writer on Joss Whedon's Buffy, Angel, and Dollhouse, does a pretty solid job as a director here, getting the more personal relationship stuff going. And there was something about the new tech applied to the giant monsters and robots that was a real treat in the first Pacific Rim, because, you know, we're used to giant robots and monsters being guys in suits, and here they actually had a little more of that kind of, weird CGI believability, but there's a real been there, done that thing going on. And, you know, still, this was giant fun for me. And if you like this sort of thing,
I think this review is getting longer than the movie.
I know. It's a treat to watch it on the IMAX screen. Look, this movie isn't deep, but it's big and it was fun. Again, the first one was probably better. Let's move on to a film that succeeds a little more than Pacific Rim Uprising. It's called Unsane, and it's a fine piece of genre work by the eclectic and sometimes daring director Steven Soderbergh, the guy who did Sex, Lies, and Videotape, and The Girlfriend Experience, and so much more. This is a thriller about a young woman who's involuntarily committed to a mental institution and must confront her greatest fears. And it's all shot on a smartphone. You know, Soderbergh wants to do something to keep himself interested in movie making, so he sets up a challenge. I'm going to make a movie on a smartphone, and he does a great job. The movie actually benefits greatly by having as its lead British actress Claire Foy doing an American accent, and kind of drab and a little unrecognizable as the character she played in The Crown, Queen Elizabeth. She does good work here, and good supporting work from a very polyglot cast. Juno Temple as a fellow inmate at the asylum, Amy Irving as her mom, and Jay Farrow as another asylum inmate. Jay Farrow of SNL doing pretty good work here. One giant plot hole or unexplained aspect aside, this psychological thriller about this woman who finds herself locked in a psychiatric facility with no way out is pretty damned effective. In fact, it's a terrific and scary movie. The unwilling patient in an asylum is a creepy plot element that we've seen in A Cure for Wellness and Gothica, and as a tension builder way back in the 1963 Sam Fuller movie, Shock Corridor. This brings to mind Shock Corridor, but it's a good update, and it'll be something that's going to be fun to watch at home, too. Again, having shot the thing on a smartphone, I guess you could even watch the thing on a smartphone. Okay, something you should see in a theater or on a big screen at home is Isle of Dogs. Writer-director Wes Anderson has made these off-kilter, droll, and original live-action movies, including Rushmore, The Royal Tenenbaums, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and my favorite of them, Moonrise Kingdom. And now he's come up with this creative and whimsical but surprisingly moving stop-motion animated charmer, Isle of Dogs. And yes, I think the fact that the title sounds like I Love Dogs is quite deliberate. And I love this movie, which concerns an outbreak of a dog-borne flu in a future version of Japan, which results in a political leader banishing all dogs to a garbage dump on an island off the coast of the country. But this leader is a nefarious guy whose noble adopted son believes there's something devious afoot and is determined to find his own dog, Spots, on the island, even if the island is off limits to humans. I think this is a better movie than Anderson's previous leap into stop motion, Fantastic Mr. Fox, which you may recall featured a few famous actors led by George Clooney, Meryl Streep, Owen Wilson, and Bill Murray as the voices of its characters. And in Isle of Dogs, Murray's back, joined by Liev Schreiber, Bryan Cranston, Ed Norton, Scarlett Johansson, Jeff Goldblum, Frances McDormand. What's funny about this is, in particular, Schreiber, Goldblum, and Murray, you can hear them. I mean, the emoting is really beautifully done, and the character work is terrific. And the animated dogs that they play are wonderful partners to those voices. Isle of Dogs is no dog. In fact, let's call it my pet film of the week. A little more on the austere side would be a movie entitled Final Portrait, a biographical dramedy written and directed by actor Stanley Tucci. He doesn't appear in the film. And this tells the story of Swiss painter and sculptor Alberto Giacometti, basically at the end of his life in the 60s. And it stars Jeffrey Rush as Giacometti, Armie Hammer as an American art critic who becomes a model for him, Clemence Poesy as his muse, a local hooker, Sylvie Testude as his wife, and Tony Shalhoub, monk himself, as Giacometti's brother. As a Francophile, I was absorbed as hell. I mean, it's Paris in the swinging 60s, and I loved Rush and the women and Shalhoub. Hammer was his usual feckless self, but the period stuff was grand. On the whole, I'd call it a little on the dry side, maybe something you'd watch on video. I can recommend it to those who are interested in the artist and the era and Rush's work. Final Portrait, it's okay. Finally, I Kill Giants impressed the hell out of me. I mean, speaking of people with issues, a troubled junior high school girl in a Jersey coastside town has taken on a task, a quest, an heroic mission. She's going to protect the town and her family from the invasion of elemental giants of myth that lurk in the vicinity. And maybe these giants are real. Maybe they're just a product of her slightly disturbed mind. It's powered by the painfully real, spot-on performance by a young actress named Madison Wolfe as Barbara, who is the nerdy heroine who looks like a future Comic-Con habitué, and due to her omnipresent rabbit ears may very well be like a fairy in training, but she's wonderful. And the supporting cast is all kinds of awesome, including Imogen Poots as her overwhelmed big sister and guardian, and Zoe Saldana as the school counselor who takes an interest in the eccentric Barbara. I Kill Giants basically knocked me out, directed by Anders Walter, written by Joe Kelly. I think it's something worth seeking out.
That's it?
Yep, that's what we got.
Yeah. Okay. We've got to see a film that it's on, what is it on? It's on Hulu. That you recommend. I don't know if you recommended it or not because I didn't go back to listen to the review back in September. And then it went on to win the Independent Spirit Award for the best first feature called Ingrid Goes West.
Yes, I did. I thought it was pretty solid stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a great first film for somebody. I mean, we really enjoyed it.
And it gives its two lead actresses something to really chew on. And Aubrey Plaza plays Ingrid, who's an obsessed fan of an actress in Hollywood who is played by.
No, it isn't. It isn't Hollywood. She isn't a Hollywood actress. She's just a common person who she gets. She does a lot of what do you call it? Posts on Twitter or whatever.
She's an online celebrity.
She's an online celebrity. Yeah, yeah.
So played by Elizabeth Olsen. I thought it was a pretty cool film.
Yeah, and that we enjoyed. You also recommended a series on Netflix called what? Collateral.
Collateral. Yes.
Yeah, we watched 2 episodes and gave up on it.
Hey, it's only 4 episodes long.
I know, but we weren't going to waste our time with another 2.
Okay.
Didn't go anywhere. Didn't go anywhere. Just kind of sat there, you know.
Oh, it was getting someplace, but that's all right.
I'm sorry. I petered out halfway through the journey. So, you know.
Listen, Peter, it's a pleasure talking with you, and you can catch up to me on Twitter at Culture Blaster and on Facebook at the Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page. And we've got some more stuff coming up next week, I hope, including...
No, they're going to stop making movies next week.
They're not, no. And there's a blockbuster on the way for next weekend, so we'll see what turns up.
Okay, thank you, Michael. And Mike will be here again next week, same time, same station. In the meantime, stay tuned for more GABNet coming right up.